as a solution to the lack of jail space?
Well, it's a funny question because the solution to the lack of jail space is that we've been renting jail space in other communities. But that's not a great solution for a variety of reasons. You take people away from their homes, away from their loved ones. When you put them in other counties, the services that they get there are different than the services they would get here. So we really do need to have a new jail. And see Joanne Troe sitting back there. Joanne and I chaired a committee many years ago of 15 citizens who looked at the whole jail issue. So it's not a new issue. We've been looking at it year after year after year and have concluded that we need a new jail. But I think we're going to drag out the plans that we had before and start again, make a fresh start, probably with a new committee of 15 or more citizens. And then combine some of that with planning for what to do with the courthouse, because the courthouse is not a safe facility today if there is an earthquake of any significance.
Thank you. I believe that what we are doing now is the best we can do in the short term, renting jail beds in Lincoln County and Yamhill County. It's not the best solution, as Mr. Dixon has said. However, I think we need a community conversation about what we want in the jail. We need to decide what kinds of upstream strategies we can employ to keep people from landing there in the first place, including providing better mental health care and substance abuse treatment for folks here in town so that they don't go through the jail as a revolving door. We also need to be sure we know what kinds of programs we'd like to have in the jail, including work release programs, programs that reduce recidivism like GED training and other kinds of training programs, so that folks that are there for a full year they have an opportunity to improve their ability to survive once they get out of jail again. I agree that the best strategy moving forward is to explore the idea for a law enforcement complex. There are funding sources that might be able to help with that idea. There's some new funding streams coming online at the state level that could help pay for that kind of a multifaceted complex. But the most important thing is to engage all of you in the community, the Public Health Department, and the Public Works Department to put forth a plan that has strong support before we go out for another bond measure.
Thank you. Zan, what environmental programs would you implement to help Benton County do its part to stem the local impacts and the increasing pace of climate change?
I believe that we need to put it into place programs that would help to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions that we put forth here. And we need to think about programs that will help to adapt to climate changes that we see coming down the pike. In the first instance, we can take a look at all of the new infrastructure that we're contemplating, the law enforcement complex and a new health department, and make sure that those facilities have the best possible heating and cooling systems so that we minimize the amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted in those processes. We also need to think about our transportation and the fleet that the county owns, and make sure that as we replace vehicles, we're replacing them with vehicles that emit less. Thirdly, in that vein, we need to make sure that our public transportation system is adequate to reduce the number of solo car trips to the best degree possible, given the density we have here. With respect to adaptation to climate change, we need to be thinking about the health impacts that we could be seeing of increased epidemics, increased mosquito-borne viruses, etc. But most importantly, we need to think about water. We're going to be seeing a change in the seasonality of water, even though we might not see a change in the quantity of precipitation here. And we need to have better data about our groundwater systems, groundwater aquifers, and about, excuse me, I'm out of time.
Thank you.
What would you have said? Well, we don't disagree on much. Last year, we employed a full-time sustainability coordinator, a fellow by the name of Sean McGuire, to lead a countywide sustainability and livability initiative that we call 2040 Thriving Communities Initiative. And he has with him an internal sustainability coordinator by the name of Rebecca Taylor. We're developing a climate change response plan. We have a climate action plan led by Gordon Brown of the Health Department, and climate change assessment is underway. We have consolidated our waste streams into one facility, and that reduces CO2 and air emissions. We've opened a reuse center. We're shifting our fleet from gasoline to propane for significant reductions in greenhouse gas and nitrous oxide. And a third of our patrol cars already run on propane. And now, because it's better, we're switching those to renewable diesel fuel. There's some expense involved every time you convert one of these vehicles, but we are doing it. During my term in office, 20 energy conservation projects, lighting upgrades, boiler retrofits and replacements, chiller cooling tower replacements, 9 HVAC upgrades, the fairground solar system, and more we have done, and we will continue to do those things.
Jay, can you describe any programs or policy changes you would like to see enacted if elected to promote greater collaboration among city, county, and regional agencies as well as NGOs?
Well, we've always, and not just me, but the commissioners that I've served with over these years have always wanted to collaborate with other governmental agencies in other towns and cities. And we do that in a number of different ways. Now, the larger cities aren't as interested in our collaboration as the smaller towns and cities are. But, for example, we're working in Monroe right now on a number of initiatives. We work with Adair Village, we're working with them. We've done some things like increasing the size of their population, the size that they could have in terms of population. We collaborate in a number of regional agencies, the Council of Governments, which I chaired a number of times over the years, is a 3-county area. The Community Services Consortium is a 3-county area. So we do a lot of collaboration already. We're always interested in doing that. We think that we work less expensively and more effectively if we can do it together rather than individually.
I agree with Jay that collaboration is a way to do things more efficiently and effectively, and we often can learn a great deal from partners, whether they are our sister counties in Lincoln and Lynn County, or whether it's the towns here in Benton County. I think there's still more potential for collaboration with the city of Corvallis. We've already named a couple of those potential collaborations, whether it's on a law enforcement complex or whether it is on the issue of homelessness. That is a key area of collaboration that we're going to have to engage in actively in the next years to come as we embark upon a joint plan to address the issue. I also believe that there's opportunity for collaboration in the area of natural areas and parks. Both the city and the county have staffs. They're both very small. Both of them have challenges maintaining their natural areas and parks, and it's a key area where a joint operating agreement might be put together to achieve efficiencies and to improve the quality of staffing that we have in those areas, because it would allow people to specialize more in what they know best.
Okay. Zan? Oh, I'm sorry, Jay, go ahead.
We could pass it back.
Okay,
I did answer
all right,
that.
it's back to Zan, it's my fault. Now that the
You wanna watch
Willamette...
us do some more?
Now that the Willamette 2100 project is nearing completion and has released some of its findings regarding water availability and prospective demands, what programs would you support in Benton County during your administration to protect and improve our available water sources?
The Willamette 2100 project, as I started to mention before, has forecast that we are going to see a change in seasonality of our water availability. We'll have about the same amount of water, but less of it will be available in the summertime. And of course, the summertime, especially late summer, is when we use the most water. The peak demand, or the biggest user, is agriculture, and that window of use will occur when we have the least available. I think one of the main things we need to do is improve the knowledge of our aquifer systems and where our groundwater comes from, the dynamics of those systems. so that we don't oversubscribe. We also need to have a good understanding of the seniority of water rights to Marys River, for instance, and the Willamette, so that we can be sure that we have water for all of our core needs moving forward, both for agricultural and for other needs. One of the things that I see as a potential challenge is that we do need to build more housing, and we need to make sure that when we are looking at potential for new housing around the county, that we don't build in areas that are in potential water deficit because of changes in water availability. Lastly, I think that we are going to see more need and desire for impoundments for water storage when we have winter rainfall in abundance. And that is going to be a tricky balancing act with balancing out fish and wildlife habitat.
Thank you.
I agree with Sam.
Okay, Jay. There are currently outright permitted exceptions to the code that protects farmland from being taken out of production. Such exemptions include the construction of places of worship, roads, model airplane landing fields, and dog training facilities. Would you support other outright permitted land use exceptions that take farmland out of production, such as natural resources, restoration of wetlands, riparian buffers or floodplains, recreational trails for bikes or hikers, agritourism functions above and beyond current allowances, housing projects, or any others?
Well, most of those things that you talked about are governed by state law, not by county ordinance. And so, we have to work in the legislature, and we have a couple of legislators here. Senator Gelser is here, and Representative Rayfield is here, or was here. So you can talk to them about that. But generally speaking, I don't agree with taking more farmland unless it's a very, very good use that we put to the land that we take. But I would preserve as much farmland as possible.
I also am a strong believer in our statewide land use planning system, and I also would not support any exemptions, categorical exemptions, in addition to the ones that you named, to take take agriculture out of production. I have been working in conservation, and I am a strong believer in riparian ecosystems and in natural systems and natural ecosystem services that are provided by some of these areas. But I think that it's best when we work in public-private partnerships and with willing landowners to use those lands for public benefit rather than mandating those uses. I do have to say that I expect that we will face some difficult discussions about housing, and that the housing issue is one of those where we may see some change with respect to land use. And the pilot program to build outside of the urban growth boundary in 2 jurisdictions here in the state of Oregon that was approved in the legislature this last year as part of the package of housing bills is one that I'm watching with interest and caution.
We are almost out of time, so I would like each of you to take a minute and wrap up and give us any closing statements you would like to address the audience with.
Well, thank you. Again, thanks to the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this. Thanks for all of you for being here when you could be doing something probably much more comfortable at home. I have served you, I think, reasonably well for the past almost 16 years. And I would like to continue to serve you for another 4 years. So I hope that when you get your ballot, and some of you received that today, I'm told, when you check the box, that you check Dixon, and make sure that you get it to the elections office, or the drop box, or however you get it there before the deadline.
Thank you. I would like to close by saying that I'm experienced at managing organizations and budgets, and I've served effectively on many boards and committees. I'm a proven collaborative leader, and I have a reputation for good listening skills and for building bridges. I believe that these skills will become ever more important as our population grows and as our population diversifies. Given my multicultural background, I think I'm the right choice for building healthy, strong, and diverse communities here in Benton County. A vote for me is a vote for energetic new leadership and that will shore up existing services, core services for working class families, and prepare us for the future.
Thank you, both Zan and Jay. We do have set aside 20 more minutes. Our candidates have, both contested and uncontested, have said they would stay around if you still have questions, particularly ones that you didn't get answered in the last 20 minutes. I want to thank the library and a special thanks to all of the members of the Voter Service Committee for helping to make this evening a success. The League has nonpartisan voter guides in English and Spanish, and I would invite you to pick one up. They're in the back of the room there. As you know, May is the time to vote for this primary. I want to encourage all of you to get out and exercise your right to vote. It is an essential step in the process of democracy. It's your opportunity to make your voice heard and help shape the issues that affect all of us. If you are interested in the types of community activities we have sponsored here tonight, I would encourage you to pick up some information on the League of Women Voters of Corvallis in the back of the room at the table, or visit our website. Thank you again. Please use this time to ask additional questions of the candidates, and we will wrap up at 8:40. Thank you.